paragraph and introduction.
All right.
Okay.
Rana, have you timed it? Or should I be timing here? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Time is up. Time is up.
Is everyone done?
I guess.
Okay, so I made breakout rooms. Miss Patterson's gonna go in one room and I'm gonna go in the other one. And as a pair, you guys are gonna take turns interviewing each other, okay?
All right.
Okay, so I'm opening all the rooms.
Hi.
Hello, Tasfia.
Yeah, Tessia.
Okay,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Okay, so I think other people are going to be joining us, right? Or we're doing this for now.
I think I'm not sure, but I think for now it might just be us two.
Okay, all right. So let's start. So
Okay.
I was doing with I think Maha or Mahir. Other people are joining.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
So I think Nabiha has joined us also. I wish I could see all your faces.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem. I understand. It's 11 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in New York.
Yeah.
You said you were in Africa?
I'm in Ghana at the moment.
Oh, wow.
But, I live in New York some of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time, and then I live in Ghana most of the time.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. But Nabiha, how are you? I don't know if she's muted.
I'm not sure if she can hear us.
I'm asking her to unmute,
Okay.
but perhaps I could start with you and then I will work with her.
Okay.
I hope it's a her.
Yeah, I think it's
Start
her.
with you, I'll work with her. Tell me.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So we're going to do a little role play as we mentioned. I will be interviewing each of you as if I hope you both applied to colleges already.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start with Tasfia. Tasfia, tell me about yourself and the school that you've applied to.
So my name is Sophia Nawar, and I'm a student at Elnor School here in Brooklyn. And this past year, seeing that I'm a senior in high school, I've applied to a few universities such as NYU, Hofstra, Stony Brook, and the CUNYs in the city. And so yeah.
Okay, so where do you want to? Which is your dream school if you had to pick one?
Most definitely NYU. It has all the programs that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And, I've been researching like their programs and they're very specific. And I think, they fit well with my interest.
Okay, so what program are you hoping to study?
Well, at first I used to be into theater, but now I'm going into more journalism.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to stick to the program like that kind of also deals with world studies because I'm also interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's begin. I just asked that question for background on you. Let's begin. So Ms. Nawar, thank you so much for applying to NYU. It's a pleasure to meet you this morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Tell me about yourself.
Well, like I mentioned, I go to Al Noor here in Brooklyn. It's a small private Islamic school. And in my free time, I love reading and writing. But to keep me busy, I volunteered this past year at Rev 21. It's a small family-owned writing workshop center based around youth empowerment. And I hope to major in political science and journalism. So I think working in spaces like Rev 21 has helped me, with my writing and my ability to work with others. And I enjoy collaborating and working in creative spaces. So anytime I'm given a task that requires me to think outside the box, I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it.
Okay, excellent. What's the biggest challenge you face in school?
I would say seeing that I'm sociable and I enjoy talking to others, and having to kind of fit my demeanor, that would, be comfortable and fit with others, has been a little difficult because there's so many different types of groups and people that you meet throughout high school. And so, having to make sure they're comfortable when we're speaking, has been a struggle in terms of, again, making sure that they're comfortable, but I think I've gotten pretty well at that over the years.
So as someone who's aspiring to be a journalist, right, you have to always make your the person that you're interviewing or the person that you're in front of comfortable. Tell me about a time when you were doing something journalistic where you eased a person into the interview so you could get your story?
Well, I think like in terms of human experience, I think getting to know the person on a more personal level and kind of separating work and interview from getting to know the person is important. And so, for example, like going having to interview for some of these universities, I found myself asking the interviewer about where they're from, what they're doing, why they chose to work for the school that they're working for, and then from there, we can get on a more professional level.
Okay. What's the biggest challenge you face in life and academically?
Um, the biggest challenge I face in life, I would say, that's a little, I'd like to think that I don't face many challenges, but that wouldn't be
You're
true.
lucky.
Right. Let me think. Probably, um, okay. I would say, having to help others understand when certain opinions are valid but not acceptable, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, or that they should go about it in a different way. And so having to confront them and talk about it in a well-mannered way, politely, it comes easy for me, but again, having to convey that to them in a way where they actually understand it, you know. So yeah, I would say
So
that.
I would want to follow up with this question. What's the number one tactic or way that you make sure that you understand another person's viewpoint when you get
I
into
mean,
this kind of a discussion?
I always want to see fully where they're coming from and then see how they're thinking. So I'd probably speak to them for a bit, have them do the talking. And
Oh,
then from there, I'd reiterate what I have to say and then hopefully convey it in a way where they understand. And, both of us can communicate and see if they have any concerns about what I'm possibly saying.
definitely. Do you have any questions for me about your application and the application process of getting into NYU?
So seeing that students are working so hard to attend, such great colleges and universities like NYU, starting from freshman year, many kids, they work really hard. But what's one thing that you think stands out when you're going over student applications?
We like to see the well-rounded students. I know that every school will probably say this, but NYU is looking for a holistic human being. It's not just academics. We want to see that you're involved in extracurricular activities, you're participating in other things outside of school. And from your application, I definitely saw that. And in this interview, you mentioned a few things that you've done. And so that's your, I wouldn't say that you're the ideal NYU candidate, but you're one of them. You would be among the top, if I had to say. I want to know, did you apply for any scholarships?
Yeah, so I applied for the general scholarships that New York provides.
Mhm.
And yeah, besides that, I haven't really gone beyond that.
So I will send you a link. And this is me pretending to be the NYU admissions
Okay.
person, but I will send you a link to our scholarship page, and then perhaps there are some on there that you could also think about applying for.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
You're very much welcome. Do you have any questions for me other than the one that you just asked?
Um, let me think. Okay, wait, I'm just gonna generally ask you a question about this specific part of an interview, actually, because
Okay.
this is where I struggle.
Okay.
So I feel like when towards like the end of an interview, sometimes when I'm being, well, like as an interviewer, no, excuse me, you're the interviewer and then I'm the one giving you the answers that you're seeking, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I can leave asking you a question that could possibly lead you to decide to pick me. Like, oh, the question that she had just asked was something that I didn't expect, and I really like to see that, for example, in our employees. So, like, what kind of questions should I ask before, the interview ends?
Um,
Or is that solely based like around
I,
the environment? Like,
I think probably you have to feel out the environment, right? And if there was anything specific about the job description that stands out to you, then I would advise that you ask something specific to that, right? Like you talked about, you want to be a journalist, and let's say you're applying for a journalism internship. If there was something, maybe it's a location, probably you would ask the interviewer about the possibility of working from home, especially in an environment like this that we're all dealing with. So
Right.
I would advise you that just look critically at the job description and pick out something just to ask the person about.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to invite Nabiha into the discussion
Okay.
and ask you to reflect on some of the things that Tassia and I talked about. What do you think she did well on, and how do you think she could improve? And then we will have your interview.
Yeah, so I don't think she did anything wrong per se. I actually think that she was really insightful in a lot of her answers. I think, especially in the answers where she sort of reflected on her own personality, like saying things like she's sociable and things like that, and that she can interact well with others, and then also talking about the idea of like how one of her like challenges, or not challenges, but like things that she's had to encounter, like with other people's like opinions and things like that. So showing that she's a interactive person. I personally like that. And I thought that it was really good. And I think in terms of like asking questions, I think it was good that she did ask questions back, because I know
Definitely.
that sometimes that can be important.
Definitely. I would commend that also. I think her authentic self came out, and it's tough for people to always look inward and figure out that this is an area that I need to work on. But she was able to draw on the fact that sometimes it's a challenge for her to bring in other people to the conversation. And she clearly showed us that there are ways that she utilizes to overcome that and work with it so she can interact with other people. So Tasfia, we will be doing the same thing once I'm done with Nadia's interview. So please listen in
Okay.
and come up with some questions that you may want to ask her afterwards. So Nabiha, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm currently a college student. I'm a sophomore at Cornell, and I'm studying labor relations right now.
You're studying labor relations?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a couple of steps ahead of what Tasfia and I just did. But I would ask,
Yeah.
why did you choose Cornell?
So I really don't know. So like I honestly don't know.
Okay, it's a good school. It's a pretty good school. That's a good enough.
Yeah, I think it was the financial aid. They offered a pretty decent package.
Okay. I mean, I think for a lot of us, that's always the thing that it's a decision maker for us. I know when I was applying for schools, whoever gave the most financial aid was most likely where I was gonna go, unless it was a school that I really, really wanted to go to. But and you're studying labor relations, you said?
Yes.
What do you hope to do with that when you're done with school?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. So you're a sophomore in school right now, and
Yes.
have you decided on what? Clearly, you've decided on your major and the track that you're gonna go on once you're done with school, right?
Yeah.
Have you applied for any internships or volunteer opportunities?
Yeah.
Okay, where are you applying?
A lot of the internships that I did apply to were a lot of like State Department ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you envision yourself working in the State Department once you're done with school?
Yeah, I feel like that's the goal, ideally.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Well, I feel like I've exhausted all my questions for you because I thought all of you were high school students. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. You're a couple of steps ahead of us, right? Do you have what's your ideal job once you're done with school?
I would like to maybe do something with the Foreign Service. I know that that's
Okay.
definitely something I'm
Okay,
interested in.
so let's say that you've been recruited for the FSO at the moment. You're almost done with school and you're recruited for the FSO. tell me about why you want to be a foreign service applicant, or you're a foreign service applicant. Which country would you like to be placed in, and what would you like to do?
Yeah, so I'm really interested in the foreign service because growing up, I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood, and being exposed to a multitude of different cultures at such a young age gave me a certain appreciation for learning about other cultures, for learning about different communities and different people. And I knew that that's definitely something that I wanted to pursue and learn more about in the future. I think that the foreign service would be a great opportunity for me to do some good while learning about other cultures, while gaining a greater appreciation for other people, and definitely helping them in terms of economic and social issues as well. And I know that after studying labor relations, I definitely understand a lot of the issues that definitely are intertwined with a lot of workers as well in a lot of countries in terms of their relationships with um, in the global sphere as well. So I know that I definitely wanted to apply to the foreign service because I know that given my interests, I feel like it's the best way that I believe that I can make a difference.
Is there any specific country that you would like to go and work in?
No, I believe that I'm very open to experiencing new cultures from almost any country.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much for sitting down to talk to me about your goals and your dreams post-college. If you don't have any questions for me, I think our interview is wrapping up.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me at the moment?
Not at the moment.
So thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure you listened in very well. Do you have what's your general critique of
So
our interview?
all right, so I think she did pretty well, and she set down her answers clearly and honestly. Like when you had asked her off the bat why she applied to Cornell, she answered with like the honest answer, and she just said she didn't know. But I think, this gave into what I think a lot of us feel and think. And she explained her reason for being in foreign services and like gave a small background story about growing up and how she grew into her interest for community and working on a global scale. So I think that was a good cause because it, gave us insight into her passions and why she chose foreign services. She set down a clear goal, and it seems like she's thought about it in the past. I think she could have asked a question at the end when you asked her if she had any, because I think this leaves the interviewer feeling like she's interested in their university and company. But besides that, I think she did really well.
Definitely. I would also recommend and suggest you presented some really concrete responses, drawing on your growing up experience and how that was your inspiration to want to go into the foreign service. However, when I asked you about why Cornell, you're in the school right now, right? So I would hope that you could have given some generic answer like, oh, the diverse student population, the school environments, the fact that professors are invested in their students. And I know a lot of times what we like to hone in on, like teacher-student ratio. So you could have picked any amount of things to talk about to highlight why you picked the school that you're in. But other than that, like Tasia said, you did pretty well talking about your inspiration for wanting to go into the foreign service. But again, I would have recommended and hoped that you would have asked a question. I came at you twice to ask you if you had any questions for me. And I know that maybe you didn't have a question, but sometimes I think just coming up with something on a whim, right? To will let the interviewer know that you prepared for the interview and you thought about something to ask them. At least you're engaged in the session, right? But overall, I think you did pretty good. Both of you did pretty well. So I think we're done. We're about wrapping up. I think we're done, unless I'm gonna be giving other people.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're very much welcome. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Should we wait for the others to come back?
I think so.
All right.
I believe that we have 1 hour and we have about 45 minutes. I would want to debrief with the rest of them to know what they did and how they're,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me chat with them.
Okay.
Where they are. I think if we give it like 30 seconds more and no one comes back,
Okay.
we break and then we stay in touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So how's school? Are you all doing in person or virtual?
Yeah, I'm doing both blended,
Okay.
in person and at home.
And how is that going?
It's going pretty well. I've gotten used to it. I've figured it out. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot better than it was initially, like when we first went into, quarantine and all that.
And how many days are you physically on campus?
So 3 days and then the other 2 is at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're home, are you able to focus on what you're doing?
Yeah, I've managed to set up, at least try to imitate a school environment at home. It is a little difficult, but, I've gotten the hang of it.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
how about you? Is Cornell doing hybrid or virtual? So we waited our 30 seconds. I think
Yeah.
we're good to leave. Thank you both very much. I really enjoyed this session with all of you, the entire group and the two of you in the breakout.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I enjoyed this as well.
If you have any questions, I'm gonna type in my email in here again if you didn't get it
Okay.
from the presentation. Stay in touch, be sure to shoot me a message.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best in your applications and Nabiha, the
Thank
best
you.
in everything that you want to do.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too.